All right, testing, testing. Good morning. It is Thursday, August 17th, 2023. Let's go ahead and do a quick review here of what happened yesterday. Pretty messy out of the open, guys. For the first 2 hours yesterday, from about 6:30 my time to 8:30, those first 2 hours of the market, it just chopped up and down. It was quite messy, and that's how things can be. So for here you can see the first 2 hours of the open. It holds on the pullback out of the open, right? It holds the 200, comes down and bounces one tick in front of the low of the day before there, one of our expected support areas over in this here, and comes up, probably fakes some of the bulls out. So one of the best trades you could have tried here as it started to break through our scaffolding to the upside was that pullback into the 200 and the holy orange power level there. It was a really good opportunity. It was just about a 38% retrace of that push up from that overnight low, but it only went 3.5 points, or a little over 3 points. So if you were here trading this and you saw this pop and you were in a trade and it started to turn around the FMA and the scaffolding and come all the way back, probably was a hint that that wasn't quite going to get any follow through there. So I wouldn't have stayed in that trade if I would have tried it. And then that was it. Nothing else really sexy happened here. Again, for about 2 hours, it just chopped around and didn't do anything notable until we started to get the breakdown. And that's when we started to get some really beautiful opportunities. The first being that little kiss right back to the 200. But at the time, we were still inside the chop. So that probably wasn't going to be a prime type of trade to take. When the market started to fail, though, and it went ahead and popped back through the close of the day before, came down lower, that kiss off the back end. Remember, we talked about in bearish markets, a lot of times the market will kind of ride the back end as it's going in a direction off of our levels. And it actually, again, held the 200, but at the time, inside of all this chop, that might have not been a very prudent thing to try. But this, once the market finally showed its face and we got this breakdown, that kiss off the back end of the 200 of the close would have been a good opportunity, right? And then again, got another bounce off our top end of our expected support zone, but then continued to sell off. So as this failure started to happen, again, outside of all the chop, once it finally broke lower, there was your opportunity right off the back end of the close. And then as it continued to travel lower, well, guess what? We got our textbook hold, a beautiful kiss right off of the 200 moving average and the top end of our expected support zone, right before we actually came back down into here. And that was it, right? So if you didn't catch anything in the first 2 hours of the market, in the towards the afternoon for those on the East Coast, you started to get, the market started to show its face a bit, right? And then you could have tried that short off the close. And then this right here, we talk about it multiple times a day. Beautiful opportunity off the two. Now, the market held, interestingly enough, right off the retracement that we put on our charts there at 44.32 half. It bounced one tick in front on the first test and then basically to the tick on the second. So, again, would you have bought that? I don't know. Being short would have been the play for me, but taking profit right in front of that expected support area would have been what I'd done if I took that trade. And then we got the pop and again came right up into the VWAP in the close of the day before. Nice little parry right off if you tried it to the tick there, and then they had to peek through and then continue to sell it off. And then you got more opportunities to short the back end of the 200 as it continued to go. So again, the open and the first 2 hours of the market, super choppy, nothing notable, probably dangerous for some of you. And then once it started to actually fail back down, that's when we started to get these perfect short opportunities. Now, did it work every time? No. Right here, it didn't do anything. You would have been stopped out trying to short the 200 the second time. But some great opportunities. And again, what looked to be the low of the day there was our retracement level that we put on the charts. I don't remember if we put it on that morning or if it was on from our previous session there. And then what happened is the bulls tried to come back in and get a strong push, and they got swatted down right at the close and the VWAP. Again, this is basically another VWAP play, right? Holding the VWAP to the upside, failing below, and then coming back to test into it, and then failing from it, right? So some pretty decent holds once. Again, like I said, the market showed its face and started to fail. And then again, great opportunity off the 200 as the market continued to sell off into the close there. And that was basically it. So not the greatest day, right? I'm not going to come in here and make the point and have a rotomontade here every single day. So it is what it is. And now we're coming into the Globex session here from last night. Again, if we look at this through the lens of the VWAP, again, it failed right around VWAP there in the overnight session. I want to get that hopeful off because it didn't plot until later. But yeah, market open, fell right back below the VWAP there. In fact, touched it to the tick, touched it nearly to the tick here, and then we started to kind of reverse phase and start to come higher. And that pullback to the VWAP there, I didn't try that trade. I was asleep at the time. That to me would have been a great opportunity, and guess what? It would have stopped me out, right? So you have to understand that these setups, they don't work every time. You have to be ready to accept your loss and move on to the next trade. So it didn't work great there, but then a kiss to the tick, and we've been in this nice bullish rally all night, right? In the very short time frame perspective, we're still in a very bearish market right now. And remember what we said yesterday when we came into the market, we still have all the clues on the higher time frames for a potential rotation, but we're going to be bears until we can get through, at least for starters, 50% of the previous daily price action there, and ideally get up through 50% of last week. And if that could happen, then maybe I would start to become more of a bull. But, never happened, right? So we kind of peaked up a couple points and then failed right back below VWAP and held VWAP for the continuation lower there. Now we're in this micro uptrend, and we're riding the VWAP, riding just around the 200. And again, it could probably just, because of what we're dealing with here, probably just another fake out. And it's going to, rip lower. But here's the thing, and actually let's get into our pre-market for this morning. The most important thing here is we came into the level we've been watching for quite a while here, 44.11 quarter, which is the low. If we zoom out and look,